Hi loves, it's Elle and welcome back to my channel and thank you so much for being here. I'm excited to see each and every one of you. Today class is back in session. We're going to be doing a whole overview on a topic that's been coming up a lot and you guys have a lot of questions on it as far as large pores, fine lines and wrinkles, things of that nature, makeup settling into it, what to do about it. All right, so before we get started, hit the subscribe button, share this video with somebody you think might like it, and let's do it. So on a lot of my other channels, so TikTok and Instagram, a lot of people have been coming up to me or DMing me and asking me a lot about large pores. Now I am going to kind of wrap in fine lines, not super deep wrinkles, but we'll talk about fine lines into this because this kind of goes together, okay? So how it's going to work is we're first going to go over skincare and then I'm going to actually do a whole makeup tutorial on how to apply your foundation to combat these issues while you're waiting for your skincare to do its thing. Okay. So first of all, when we talk about large pores, fine lines, they really happen for the most part because of a couple things. Really dehydrated skin or lack of hydration in the skin is going to lead to the appearance of fine lines more readily, quicker. If we have more hydrated skin, those fine lines aren't going to be there as much, especially if we use ingredients like beta-glucan, hyaluronic acid, resveratrol, things that plump the skin up. That is how we're going to combat that. Now, when we're talking about large pores, pores don't open and close, okay? I know that's a misconception, but pores do not open and close, okay? They are just a pore, okay? And over time and through environmental stress, pollutants, age, lack of hydration in the skin, the pores can become stretched and lax. And so what we want to do is we want to feed ingredients that are good for this so that they become more manipulated. They can be more manipulated. They become softer. They become more retaining their shape as well as clean out anything that might be stretching them out. So the main ingredients that we really need to focus on when we're dealing with large pores specifically and fine lines is a couple of them. First being any kind of exfoliant, so any kind of AHA, BHA. The reason being is because BHAs and AHAs are going to exfoliate the skin. They're going to help with cell turnover, but they're also going to give the skin a chance to be cleared out. So it's something that you use on your hands or a facial cotton pad that you wipe on. My favorite part is toners, okay? And because they really clean the skin out, and they also, of course, help with cell turnover. Paula's Choice makes a great BHA liquid. I found one in the store when I was in Michigan. There's one by Pacifica. It has BHA in it, and AHA in it, and niacinamide. And that brings us to the second ingredient. And niacinamide is super important for this. It's great for textured skin, it's great for calming the skin, rosacea, feeds the skin, it's great for helping resurface the skin, and obviously with pore size. It's one of the number one ingredients when we're talking about pores. And now the next one is going to be retinol, okay? The retinol is going to be so important. Again, retinol is going to help with a little bit of cell turnover, but it's also going to stimulate the skin to regenerate itself, collagen synthesis, elastin production, overall anti-aging benefits to retinol. My favorite type of retinol is called retinaldehyde, and you heard me talk a lot about this in products like Maylove and Osmosis. Those are my favorite. But that's why retinol is so important and really important in a cohesive skincare routine. And the last one's going to be hydrators. So I'm not a big fan of focusing only on your moisturizer for hydrators. I recommend using an essence. So this is the Tatcha essence. I love that one. There is one from I'm From. It's the Plum essence. I will link everything in the description box below. But essences are there as our first hydrating step. Think of your skin as a sponge that's been sitting on your sink all night long. You come down in the morning and it's all crusty and dry. You add water to it and then of course it's going to receive the water, plump, you know, and then get ready for the soap and be able to wash things. Think of that's how your skin is, and then the water is going to be the essence. And that's what it does to your skin, and that's why it's so important. Now, when we're talking about things like serum-wise too, when we're talking about hydrators, is one of my favorite products for this is the Maylove Hydrator. I talk about this brand a lot because it's formulated impeccably as well as it is a great price point. So the Hydrator by Maylove And then when we're talking about niacinamide, you can either get it from a toner like we talked about, or you can use this one. This one's fantastic. This is also by Maylove. It's NIA10. This is a niacinamide serum, as well as resveratrol and a few other amazing ingredients for calming, soothing, large pores, and textured skin. Again, if I'm not a broken record, Maylove's retinol lines, they have Stargazer, I believe, and Moonlight. These are both amazing retinols. They combine in retinaldehyde with a couple different ingredients. Now, if you're using all of those ingredients and you give it enough time, about 3 months, 2 to 3 months, those pores will be basically non-existent. A lot of people focus on makeup only when we're dealing with large pores and fine lines, and you have got to start to address it with skincare first. Now, I always say you can either skip moisturizer or use moisturizer and SPF, or a hydrating SPF. One of my absolute favorites is the Josie Moran Tinted SPF. Maylove makes a great one. Kinship has an amazing one, but your hydration steps, so your hydrating SPF and moisturizer is also going to be important for the appearance of makeup not sitting into fine lines and sitting into large pores. So again, just to recap, making sure that you're using these ingredients, AHAs and BHAs, a great retinol, and your niacinamide and hydrators are really going to help combat your skin for fine lines and especially large pores. Now, while we're waiting for our skincare to work, let's talk about makeup. So as you can see, I have a hydrating skincare routine on. I did something very similar today. I did use a nice moisturizer so that the skin would be plump and hydrated. And then primers for this type are going to be pretty important. Now, they don't need to be all over the face. You can put them in the places where you have those large pores. You can even use them over your fine lines, across the forehead, your 11s, crow's feet. And that will, for a little bit, help to plump up those lines and kind of fill in the pores as well as fill in those fine lines. My favorite one, my favorite go-to, is going to be the Elle Putty Poreless Primer. I absolutely love this. The Tatcha one is fantastic as well. I just warm it up in my hands and then I press this into the skin where I have large pores. This is going to be important, this application method. Pushing the product into your pores instead of just wiping them is going to be the best way to get the most coverage out of your primer. And literally I just sit here for a little while and I press this primer into the skin. And you can already see as I'm coming in here that that has a blurring effect to the skin. And that blurring effect will help, again, combat those large pores and fine lines. But make sure you're pushing it into the skin and then giving it about 2 to 3 minutes to set before you go in with your foundation or your next steps. Okay, so on our next step, there's 2 ways to approach it, and I'm going to show you both. So the first way is to pick a foundation that has a natural finish or a satin finish. Or you can go matte as well if you're super oily, but usually a natural or a satin is going to be your best bet. The new Lisa Eldridge foundation is fantastic for this, as well as the Pure 2-in-1 foundation. It has just a general finish. So if you have too much shine on your skin, you're gonna be able to see those fine lines and it's gonna reflect in those pores. So that's why having a really just nice, easy finish, nothing too glowy, is gonna be your best bet if you have these issues. Application also is gonna be important. I recommend your hands or a sponge. Brushes have a tendency to show up your pores a lot more. They also kind of wipe away your primer, so we have to be careful with that. So I'm just going to literally put a little bit of foundation on this side of my face, and I'll show you the reason why we're just doing one side at a time. And then I'm just going to take my big sponge. This one's by Elle. It is very gently damp. It is not sopping wet and has been sitting here for about 10 minutes. This pressing motion is going to do the exact same thing that we were talking about with the primer. It is going to push that foundation into the pores, as well as it's going to push it into the fine lines and wrinkles. So it's actually going to blur over and go in and out. Yes, it's going in, but it's still going to blur it out because you're pushing the product into the skin. It's not sitting on top. The reason why foundation gets into fine lines, crow's feet, etc., is because there's nothing pushing it into the skin and making it like a second skin. All right, so there we go. There is one run straight across the board, and you can see that my pores are pretty poreless. Now, of course, I am an esthetician. I take care of my skin, so I don't have a super, super large pores, but I just want you guys to see what this looks like. Okay. Now, let's do another technique. Now, if you really, really are struggling, I would take a finishing powder or a powder that's baked. So this one's by Kosas. So what you're gonna do is you're going to set your face first. So you're going to use your powder all over your primer first. And obviously all over the face. And now what this is gonna do is it's gonna create a layer between your foundation and between your skin, and it will just become another barrier between the two so it doesn't sink into those areas of the skin. This also isn't super chalky. You could do this with a translucent, but I like to do it with a baked one because you just want it to be ever so. You just want it to be light. Now with this technique, I like to do, this is Charlotte Tilbury's setting spray, which is nice, but I like to set this just a little bit, and what that does is it melts the powder into the skin and making it a second skin. So we're gonna give it a little bit of time to kind of dry down. Then you're gonna do the exact same thing. You're gonna go in with the same exact finish for the foundation. All right, so we're gonna do the same technique again. A brush really would not be great for this technique because you do not want to move anything around on the skin. You want to just push, 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 push product into the skin. So that is all done. So you can see that this side has still a little bit of nice glow to it, and this side is a little bit more matte and has a little bit more coverage. So you can do what you feel is best for your skin type as well as for your kind of skin needs or what you want your skin to look like. This side has a tendency to be really for universal, but many people that are a little more oily and have more large pores. This side is mainly for somebody that has normal to dry skin, doesn't have super, super large pores, but want to take attention to it, okay, and want to make sure that we combat that. So you can see both. Now on this side, I would just take my Kosas powder and set this just a little bit. The other side is really already set underneath, so there's really not a need to set it again unless you really, really wanted to. If you really, really wanted to, I would say just give it a good spray with a setting spray and call it a day, but you don't have to, okay? So here there are two options right here. All right, so I just finished up the rest of my makeup. I wanted you to see with everything on. You can see, again, the glow a little bit more, and then obviously this one's a little bit more matte. But the pores are basically gone. So my big thing is also too, like you see these new marketing things that's like, the best new pore, you know, primer. It's like, okay, you have to address the skincare first, then you have to address the technique of application of makeup. Okay, so I hope that these tips have helped you. Let me know what you think about them. Let me know if you've tried some of these tips before. They're just my tried and true. I have been doing these tips for a really, really long time, and it works. So let me know what you think. Before I let you go, I want to leave you with one last tidbit. When you're putting concealer on and you have these fine lines here that we've done all the things to, don't bring your concealer out super far. Start it like here and then you can bring it out, but really the concealer is just kind of right here. You want as less product on these fine lines as possible, okay? So again, thank you so much for being here. I am doing a random giveaway in this video after 48 hours of it going live. I have a whole month of December of giveaways. They're so fun, they're so huge, they're goodie bags from me with brand new product in them. So make sure you guys are watching, make sure you guys are commenting in the comment section below because that's the only way I can get a hold of you, and good luck to whoever wins. Thank you all so much for being here, and I'll see you in the next one. Lots of love from me to you. Bye, loves.